Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Broken Shifter podcast. We are discussing Kansas now, in which the race just ended not too long ago. Uh, Probably one of the weirdest races we've had all season. Weren't expecting a lot of these cautions and stuff like that. One really bad wreck we'll get to later. 12 people, 11 people, something like that, failed inspection. Just lots of tire failures and Eric Jones spinning out on every lap, apparently.
Along with LaJoy.
So, well, I think he just blew a tire and hit the wall. But, yeah, he's definitely. We'll get to him. But this is kind of going to be an open podcast to talk about whatever anybody else wanted to talk about the race, because it was a clusterfuck of a race. So, having said that, I am leaving an open floor and take it away.
It was a rough race, to put it lightly. Just all around. Doesn't matter if it was an incident or strategy or just driving in general. It was just a rough race. Uh, yeah, it was. The racing was interesting. I will give it that. When everyone started getting bunched up again, the racing was actually pretty good. Did start getting a little bit spread out there in stage one and stage two a couple of times, but all in all, it was decent racing, even with the parts failure.
It's become more competitive over the past couple of months compared to the past 5 years. It's definitely more competitive racing. I wouldn't say so much for the leader or anything like that, but mid pack, it's getting really, really hectic, especially with these stages. And I know Carbon agrees with me with that.
Yeah.
100%. Just the stages create a whole different degree of just creating issues on the restart, which that's what everybody's wanting to see. But it's also tearing up a lot of race cars.
It's also majorly different pit strategies. Coming in right before or risking it and coming in right before the pits close. Some people getting caught after the pits close, arguing it. It's definitely different.
Especially at the plate tracks. We discussed that last week. This
Still
week
think
that
the
wasn't
plate
really
tracks
a
need to
thing.
remove it. At Kansas,
I
it's
do
not
wanna
much of an
bring up-
issue, but yeah.
Yeah, I do want to bring up one thing. And Dale Jr. is my favorite driver. But goddamn it, man. With the fucking loose wheels. And the speeding on pit road. It's not just the pit crew screwing up, Dale. You're screwing up too. Stop speeding down pit road. If you got a loose wheel, just because you're pissed off, don't go flying out of pit road. Don't come flying in pit road. Pick one of the two. Bitch at your pit crew, or let them bitch at you.
Well-
They need to fix something. That crew and the driver are not communicating, and they're blowing their last year together.
Well, to be fair, pretty much everybody was having loose wheels or vibration of some sort. To be fair.
That does not excuse him from speeding down pit road. Jimmy Johnson going through too many pit stalls. He still rebounded, but Hendrick is still
Toker Bush had a
struggling
little bit
mightily.
of play in that, but and Hamlin.
Chase Elliott had a shot at it today, but oops. Had a little run in on
some
pit
people-
road with Michael McDowell, and Michael McDowell managed to recover to finish, I think, 13th.
Yep.
Chase Elliott, 9 laps down, something like that. Punched a hole in the front of the damn bumper.
Yeah, there were a
Tore
lot
the
of
car
pit
up
issues
pretty
today.
bad.
And then just
Yeah,
stupid
Kansas-
accidents. Things that should have never even really happened. Like no
Kansas
reason
is
for
not
them.
a pit road where that shit should happen. This should happen at Martinsville, Bristol, Richmond. What the fuck is everybody doing? It's like everybody has had a derp moment in the past couple of weeks. It's like nobody can get their crap right. The only people that had their crap together tonight was Ryan Blaney's pit crew, and they were in the best pit stall right at the end of pit road because they were like, we ain't gonna worry about all them idiots back there. We're good.
Just point the car straight and go.
Jesus, man.
Everyone
It's like
is having errors.
nobody knows what the hell they're doing anymore. The drivers on the track are doing great, and I love the fact that these young guys are coming into their own because we got a lot of guys coming up on retirement. But damn it, if your pit crew's not doing a job, you gotta do something else. Jimmy John's a 7-time champ. He goes flying through too many pit boxes. Dale Jr., 2-time Busch Series champion, speeding on pit road, complaining about a loose wheel the whole damn time. Which they did find a loose wheel one time. The next time, they just said it was a vibration, but it is what it is. Anyways, so on and so on. Eric Jones spun 3 times. One time wasn't his fault. Ty Dillon kind of spun him. The boy saved it all 3 times.
Actually, I think one of the times I wouldn't really call his fault either because NASCAR opened the track back up after the big crash, and he drove up. He was driving up there, and you could just tell that it was the track that spun him, not him overdriving or anything like that. Because that
was the
lane
one where
was
Junior
working.
Stayed out.
That lane was working the entire time. And
yeah, and it turned to
after the
absolute
crash,
dog shit real
they
fast.
put all that crap on it. It
Speedy
freaking
Jai.
yeah, it just became impossible to drive up there. Everybody was getting twitchy up there. Eric Jones had the save of a century.
Kyle Larson hit the wall because of that.
Yep.
It's just been they should have done more of that.
They should have. They should have took the jet dryers up there and just ordered the brush trucks and just fucking knocked it off, and then put another layer down and done it again. Kept the race red flagged, but they didn't. They were rushing the race because they had been on a red flag for so long. Fans get pissed, because NASCAR fans get cranky when they're sitting in the stands and they're just like, well, is anything gonna fucking happen or not? And they're rushing shit, and they need to think about
Screw the
driver safety and stuff like that. Yeah. I mean, we're fans, but to take driver safety into account. Don't leave that crap on the track. You can't just put Speedy Dry on top of
I mean, these guys are
oil
going 200
and expect there not to still be oil on the track underneath.
Logano was saying they were doing like 215 around some of the corners at some or around the track at points.
I don't think they were doing 215
But they were getting up
when
there.
it was first repaved. Yes, they were doing 215 around there, but they were definitely over 200, which the difference between 200 and 215 ain't a whole hell of a lot, and we saw what happened from that.
Mm-hmm.
Next opinion, I'm going to Carbon.
About the race,
Yep.
I felt like the race wasn't bad, but it wasn't exciting.
Blaney was bad
There
fast.
Yeah, Blaney was fast. Kozlowski was
Short
fast
run
towards
fast.
the end, like you said earlier in the race too. You said Kozlowski is the comeback.
Almost got
Harvick had a
there.
fast car.
Just after so many accidents.
I mean,
oopsies.
right before that last caution, I think it was Harvick, Blaney, and Truex were all running in the top 3 in the reverse order, and they all ran the fastest lap of the night, 20.5. I think they said 29.5.
Track
and-
cooling off because of nighttime.
Yeah, so they were moving
More
at
grip.
the end there. But Truex had the best restart. He killed those restarts. And I think
Keselowski was the only car that. I think Keselowski had the only car that could have challenged him. Harvick, maybe. But
I think if the race was still going, like they were still in that top 3 lineup, and there was never that caution, I think it was.
Yeah.
It was Eric Jones, I think, that caused the final caution.
Yeah.
Well,
With
Ty
that
Dillon,
yet
actually.
another spin.
But yeah,
Yeah.
there was just. I think that if that wouldn't have happened, it was any of those three's race, hands down, and it would have been a really interesting finish. But I think, honestly, I think Ty Dillon and Eric Jones ruined the finish. I think it could have been a better race.
I mean, people want excitement from NASCAR. They want to watch it on TV, and today they got exactly what they want. Cautions, wrecks, hard racing, people spinning out, all sorts of crazy shit. There was one really horrific accident that, like I said, we will talk about later, and this will be a very somber thing we're talking about. This is not going to be a joking thing. Caboose, what's your takeaway from Kansas first?
This is just lining up the rest of the year to be very interesting with the way that the cars are handling, and we're going to Charlotte next week, and Charlotte is just as interesting as a track as Kansas. So I think that's the best way to describe the entire year is interesting. Interesting, interesting, interesting.
You don't know what to expect anymore with the new rules package and the new actual rules with the stages and shit. And seeing these young guys and then these small teams like Ryan Blaney. The Wood Brothers team, yes, they won the Daytona 500 with Trevor Bayne, but they were a part-time team. Now all of a sudden they're up there because they're aligned with I think Penske.
Yep, copy and
And
paste cars.
then right. And then Truex and Eric Jones, boom, they all of a sudden they align with JGR, and Truex actually shows how good of a damn driver he is.
Even right before
because
that, when they were with Chevrolet, he still did good.
they've found a way around, because at a point they were trying to make 5-car teams and 6-car teams, and NASCAR was like, no, you got to keep it to 4. And now they found a way, and they're like, nah, somebody else owns them. They've just driving our equipment, which is kind of silly.
A little bit.
I think Hendrick's one of the few teams that's not doing that.
Yeah, because RCR, they're
RCR
copy
's
and
doing
pasting
it.
to a couple people.
There's
As we said,
Germain
Joe
Racing
Gibbs.
with Ty Dillon.
Germain Racing, other than the motors,
Furniture
Chip
Row
Ganassi
Racing?
Racing.
Yep.
No, you mean Front Row
No,
Racing?
Germain Racing's. Yeah. No, it's. Is it?
Furniture Row is Truex and Eric Jones. Front Row.
Yeah, they're coming off of JGR.
Yeah. No, we're talking about RCR.
That's what I said. Did I say front row?
No,
I thought I said furniture.
I thought we were talking about
For
RCR.
JGR.
I'm so lost.
Front
I don't know
row.
these teams.
No.
No, front
RCR
row's
is
with
Germain
Roush.
Racing. Yeah, I mean it's all copy and paste. They're just buying the cars from them, and then they set them up. And Hendrick is about the only company right now that's not doing that with another team. And I
So-
think that might be why they're falling behind. Roush is starting to catch up too. Ricky Stenhouse put on a good race again. I'm telling you, the dude's coming.
Even
He's on his way.
even Trevor Bayne
The
in the
2-car
6-car.
team's working. He was up there on a weird pit strategy, and he held on for a bit, but he faded.
Okay, so this is... I just want to go back and clarify stuff here. All right, so RCR, they provide equipment for Chip Ganassi Racing.
Germain.
They provide equipment for Germain, for Ty Dillon. They provide equipment for Levine Family Racing, and they provide equipment for Chip Ganassi. Or did I already say Chip Ganassi? No, yeah, I did.
Yeah, you said Ganassi already.
What's the team that runs the Dingling and Busher?
JTG Daughtry.
Yep. That's where they provide the equipment. Just the only thing is that Chip Ganassi gets their motors from Hendrick. And then Roush provides engines to Roush, Front Row, and one other team I can't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, which front row's not doing that good. but
They did decent.
with I think it what is it David Reagan and
Landon Castle.
I can't remember Landon Castle. Landon Castle has been stinking it up something fierce this year. I had him on my fantasy team for 1 week, and I was like, "Peace, you're done."
Yeah.
Put Chris Buescher on there, and he has paid dividends. I don't know what they're running in that 37 car, but they have been doing wonders for me in my fantasy league the past 3 weeks.
Yeah. And then we got Penske, who's providing to Stewart Haas Racing, Wood Brothers, and
Yep.
I think they're providing to one other team. I don't know on that one. And then Hendricks more or less on their own, other than providing odds and ends.
Yeah, because they're not providing to Stuart Haas anymore.
Nope.
And Stuart Haas has seen a massive fall off. I mean, not a huge fall off, but a bigger fall off. Kevin Harvick's not leading every fucking lap every week anymore.
Atlanta was his only really good race.
But anyways, we're sitting at 16 minutes now, fellas. So let's go on and get through this, and let's talk about the touchy subject of the night. As
The
much
big
as
one.
I don't want to, we don't see wrecks like this very often, but Joey Logano's rotor seemed to come apart. He turned left into Danica. She hit the wall. Looked like she was about to just explode into a ball of flame. In fact, she did.
Yep.
And then Almirola slammed on the brakes trying to avoid it, and he ran right into the front of Logano's car. And they basically took the jaws of life to his car to remove him. This is not the kind of shit we want to see. But with NASCAR safety, this is not a safety thing. This is just a freak accident. And all three of us are praying that Almirola is okay. We're waiting on this, and you will get an update from us on Almirola's condition as soon as we know. I'm
Should be a
leaving for
prompt on screen.
England. I'm leaving for England in a few days, so it won't come from me. But this was when a driver can't get out of the car, and the window net's down, and only the top of his body's moving. You're worried. You're really worried. And then they helicopter lifted him out of there, and then you see Richard Petty leaving the track. So you know something's wrong, and this, it's not worrisome as far as a safety issue because this was not a track issue for once. This was just cars hitting at a really bad angle. Kansas is a loose racetrack. The track was slick. All the drivers complained about it being slick, and shit goes wrong sometimes. And all of our prayers are with Almirola right now, obviously. Joey Logano looked like a ghost in his interview. Danica, I don't know what the fuck she was thinking, because all she did was bitch during her interview, and then at the very end she was like, I hope Eric's okay. But it's always all got to be about her.
I mean,
She's good.
with her, I don't know. I can't say because I've never been in a 150 to 200 mile an hour car accident, so who knows what's running through her mind? She could still have the adrenaline running in right now, or at that moment, and just being badgered by the or trying to get interviewed, all sorts of things just running through her head. She could have a concussion for all they know. Who knows with her? I'm not gonna point blame at her for what she said because again, I've never been involved in that, so I don't know how I'd turn out after that. But you can definitely tell Joey Logano was just pale as a ghost.
He was
And
scared.
was stuttering through his words. I hope he doesn't feel that it was his fault, because it wasn't. It was a freak incident.
There was nothing he could do.
One thing I did notice, people were talking about on Reddit, and they went back and looked at the replay closely. Like a split second before Almirella's car hit Logano's car, his rear wheels were not in line with the car. Like the car was pointing to the left slightly, and his wheels were still pointing straight. And so they think maybe just basically his when he got sideways, the problem why he couldn't pull down in time was because his rear axle broke. And I don't know if that's the case or not right now, but and then so that could have maybe been the reason why when his car got up in the air and it came down, the suspension did nothing to cushion the fall. And then they did say that he was screaming my back," after he came down. So it's unknown
And
exactly
we
what
are
happened.
all-
We'll update.
We're all praying for him.
Yes, we were all praying. But yeah, we
Even
will
if
update
it was a
for sure.
driver I hate.
If it was
Even
Kyle
if it's a
Busch, I
driver hate, don't
still
wanna
want to
see
want to see Kyle Busch go through that kind of thing.
that. No.
Just it's not right.
I mean, you could see it in the replay blatantly that the whole rear axle just cut loose on the car when he made impact with Logano. I'm surprised Logano was the first
It was
out of the
before that,
infield
actually.
care center, to be honest.
And it didn't help that
But-
Logano got hit by Danica, which her car hit him, which I think caused it to angle itself to where he hit the left side of the engine rather than the door.
And I can't
Logano's
stress
car.
enough that this is a freak accident in NASCAR. This is not something that occurs on a normal basis. This is just a freak thing, and you don't want to see it happen. And we don't really, we were considering not doing the podcast just because of this accident, but we're gonna do it anyways. And anyways, Kansas was a crazy fucking race, and we were expecting a boring race, to be honest. Between the three of us, we got a crazy fucking race. I don't know what else to say. Eric Jones could not stop spinning out. Granted, one time was not his fault. Ty Dillon spun him. But he saved it all three times and kept that car. He took it to the garage in decent shape. You know, I'm pretty sure that Furniture Row Racing's probably pretty goddamn happy with him. They're like, hey, man, here's your $5,000 bonus. But Truex had the car to beat, except for the people that could never get to him. Keselowski was good. Harvick was good. We discussed that. And I think we're good to make picks for Charlotte.
Charlotte. I don't have a clue.
Yeah, we didn't
I
have
got
much
dibs
time to
on
prepare
last.
for this. I'll go. So, this Charlotte, it's an interesting track because it caters to a certain kind of driver. Most people are going to pick Jimmy Johnson or Truex. But me, I'm going to give it to Clint. I think he's got it. I don't know if he's still considered a dark horse or if he's considered as a top driver, but I'm going to consider him a
I
good
would say
driver.
him a dark horse.
Right,
As
you
of
wanna call
right
him?
now, he hasn't won in so long. I would say he's a dark horse.
All right, so that's my dark horse pick then, Clint. As of for my number one choice, I'm gonna go a little bit oddball here. I'm gonna say Matt Kenseth.
It's not a bad pick.
Interesting.
Or at least for me.
Carbon. Would you care to
Um,
make your picks for Charlotte?
How long is the track? Is it
One and a half
intermediate?
Mile and a half.
Intermediate.
I guess just off the top of my head right now, I'm gonna say for my black horse. Or
Your black horse.
yeah, I keep getting them mixed up. The name of it.
What about your white horse? You're racist.
I ain't racist. Um, for my non-major pick, I guess driver pick. I can't remember the fucking name of it.
Underdog. Go with that.
Yeah, underdog. There we go. For my underdog pick, I think I'm going to go. Well, the only person I can really think of right now is Blaney, just because he was at the top. So I guess I'll put him in there for now, but maybe I'll put an update once I actually think about it a little more. But my winner for the race, I'm going to stick with JGR, and I'm going to say Hamlin. He had a pretty fast car tonight until it started to fall off. I don't know what happened exactly, but he started to get some major fall off. But he hasn't really shown too much this year, other than he's kind of snuck up there every once in a while. But I think he's definitely overdue for a win this year. There's a bunch of people that are overdue for a win, but
Yeah. I think Chase is overdue for one, but I'm not picking him this week. I'm going down the Old Faithful road here. My main pick will be Jimmy Johnson. He's got so many wins at Charlotte. He knows how to drive this track better than anybody, except one person who dethroned him years ago, who will be my dark horse because he has not won in years. Well, not years, but hasn't won in a while. And ran really well today. So my dark horse will be Casey Kane. Hendrick all the way.
he ran pretty good today. He was up there for a while.
Yeah,
I think he touched on top 5 there.
Casey
He's always in. It seems like he's always in the top 5. Touches in the top 5, and then something happens.
falls up. Yeah. Casey Kane's really, really good at Charlotte, but it's been so long since he won. But yeah, that's it. All right,
good.
those are our picks. That's our opinions on Kansas, and like we said, we will try and give you an update on Almirola when we find out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I will. I'll either put a text over the conversation we had earlier involving that, or I'll maybe Caboose and I will make a quick little piece to throw in at the end of this video. But I'll definitely update it because we're not going to release this video till Tuesday. So.
And if nobody sees me or hears me for a little bit, it's because I am off to England on Monday. So
For a month almost. 4 weeks. I think it is, right?
yeah, for a month. And then
So
these
he may
two dipshits are taking care of it.
He may not be involved in the podcast. We'll definitely get his picks, but it all depends on if he's able to watch the race or not, and if he's around when we film these. So
Probably not going to be able to watch a race, but I'll give picks anyways. But anyways,
And
hope
watch.
everybody enjoyed the podcast.
Wait, hold on. Before you finish, I'm calling it now. Dale Jr.'s going to win the next 4 weeks because you're not going to be watching. Within the next 4 weeks,
That's
he's going to win.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
At least you're
Cubs won
missing the
World
All-Star. I
Series
mean,
when I couldn't watch it, so
I guess I don't know. I guess it depends on if you like the All-Star race or not. But at least it's not an actual season race. But so there's some pros
my
there.
picks
I
are still
guess.
Jimmy Johnson and Casey Kane for the All-Star race, by the way.
Is the All-Star race next, or is it Charlotte actual season race?
It's going to be.
I think the All-Star race comes before Charlotte.
Yeah, so it's going to be All-Star
Well,
race,
then I
and
don't
then
know
it's
if
going
my
to be
picks apply
that
then,
division
'cause I don't
race,
know
and then it's going to be the
who's
actual
racing in
Charlotte
All-Star.
race.
Yeah, because I don't know who's racing in All-Star, then, so I don't know if my picks apply.
Anyways, this podcast is carried on for way too long. But anyways, if you've watched it, thank you for watching. Whatever the hell you may be watching, because I don't know what the video is going to be behind this. If you've listened, thank you for listening. Come back again. Leave a comment, like, subscribe. And as always, I am Herden.
I'm Carbon.
And I'm Caboose.
Boogity, boogity, boogity. Boogity, boogity.
Get well, Eric.